We've introduced the basic operation components that go into a data path. And there actually can be many more. There can be floating point units. There can be different types of operations, and we'll see some of these as we go on, but this provides a nice basic overview. We're going to now pack all of these logically into something that we call the arithmetic logic unit. Within the arithmetic logic unit, there will be a single bus connecting all of the A's, another bus for the B's, and then we're actually going to connect that later to the register file, but we'll do that when the time comes. We're also going to connect all the outputs together. Since we have enable lines on each of these, connecting outputs together is okay because we can ensure that any unit that's not active is in a high impedance state. So only one of these units will be trying to drive that bus at the same time. Now that we have our arithmetic logic unit, let's combine this with our register file. We can have the X bus of our register file connected to A and Y connected to B of our ALU. And then the output, F, is connected back to here. So we haven't shown yet what to do with the control lines, but let's assume for a minute that we've figured out a way to do that, and we'll find out soon that we do have a way to do that. We could, for example, now select that we're trying to add, and that we, by the way, this, I probably should have put that up here. This right here selects which of the units. Selects the adder, logic, or shift unit. Okay, so once we've selected which one, if we select the adder using that line and this line, it should be a not add, and we select two registers from which to read and one register from which to write, we have a little bit of an issue right now, and that issue is that we only read or write one at a time, but we'll go ahead and say that we want to write. The way our register file is designed, when we give it two addresses on the read, those registers will always appear at the output there. So we put our write line high. We give register address for register X, Y, and also for the write register Z. Two values show up at the input to the ALU. The ALU computes their sum. The sum is now present at Z, and we can now store the output of this. As you can see, this is a very skeleton description of what's going on, but we're going to be expanding this. The first thing we're going to do is connect this to memory. This memory can be RAM or maybe a ROM, read-only memory, but for now let's just consider it some sort of random access read-writable memory. Address memory. We're going to take the output of the X register and connect it also to the memory line. The data line is going to be connected there so that we can write or read to or from memory. Well, if we want to write to memory, we're going to pull the data from the register file. On the other hand, if we want to read from memory, we pull the data from the memory and it travels along the black line to Z. But of course, this is going to present a little bit of a problem. So let's go ahead and stick in some transmission gates. Store is what we'll call putting something from a register into memory, and load is when we take data from memory and put it into the register file. So now we have transmission gates that allow us to also access memory. And so now we can do operations where we do arithmetic or logic or shift operations on data, store it back in the register file, or we can store data to memory from the register file, or we can load data from memory into the register file. Notice that in this type of architecture, operations are always performed on data from the register file and not from memory directly. Okay, we're going to call this whole our data path. And indeed, we can see that data tends to go along this path from the register file through the ALU back to the register file. And of course, we have access to stuff from data. But so far, we've kind of glossed over the fact that we need someone to supply the addresses, someone to supply the read not write, or the write not read, the operations, the various enable lines, and so on and so forth. So to do that, we need a control unit. So we're going to back up one more step, and we will have our data path, our control unit, and our memory. Data can go to and from the data path to the memory. The control unit sends data or information, control signals, to the data path. And the control unit can also get data from the memory. Jumping ahead, these would be the program instructions. We may also have, although I haven't drawn it in this particular situation, data that goes from the data path to the control unit. In fact, this would be important. We just haven't covered it yet. Usually, this is status information of some kind. Okay, we're getting close to having a functioning unit. There's one thing that I haven't included in here that can be really useful. And that is, we need to have some way for the control unit to insert data into memory. Why, you might say? Well, what happens, for example, if we want to compare something with 0? We could do an exclusive or a subtract. Where does the 0 come from? What happens if we want to add a specific offset to a number? Maybe we want to take what is in register 7, add 1 to it, and put it back into register 7. Where does the 1 come from? In order to do that, we need an immediate register. So let's add that to our diagram up above. Our immediate register is going to go into input B. We'll talk about where the data comes from in just a minute for that. But first, we have Y and the immediate register both tied to the same line, two outputs. So we're going to need to add a new enable line. We'll call it immediate enable. And so that will have an impact on whether or not Y is enabled. If we choose data from the immediate register, then we want output Y to be disabled. And if we're choosing Y as an output, we want the immediate register output to be disabled. Okay, so now we have a way to get data in there. We haven't yet discussed where that comes from. Well, that's essentially going to come from the control unit and from memory. We'll talk about that more when we talk about how we execute and load instructions in this particular setup.